Sixer may not be a Sixer for long. A new report yesterday said the Boston Celtics have engaged in conversations with Philadelphia about a trade for Simmons. The report also said if any deal did happen, it would have to include Celtics star Jaylen Brown going back the other way. Simmons still sitting out after an offseason full of twists and turns, full of drama and other drama. So, Twan, our drama king and our former Celtic great, would a Ben Simmons, Jaylen Brown swap make sense for both sides? You're not the drama king. You're just the king.
No, I don't think it would make sense. It doesn't make sense for the Celtics. For Philly, it makes a whole lot of sense. But for the Celtics, it does not. You got a guy in Jaylen Brown who's becoming a star in this league, who's gotten better and better each year offensively and improved his game. When he came into the league, he's supposed to be just a defender. He's turned himself into one of the prolific scorers in this league. So that trade would not make sense. And then also, too, they got to understand, if you can't play in Philly, you can't play in Boston. The fans are just as tough. Yeah. They're going to be on you as just as much. They love their team. They love their players. They want players who love the game and who want to compete. And Ben Simmons has yet to show that. Right now, if I'm any team, Ben Simmons to me, unfortunately, and I like Ben. I think he's a great talent. Has no value. I think if I'm Philly, we got to get him back on the court and get him playing basketball in some capacity if we want to get equal value back. Right now, if I'm any team, I'm not taking a chance on Ben. He hasn't got back on the court, and that bothers me. It's starting to become troublesome that he does not want to play basketball. I mean, there's guys that tear ACLs, tear their meniscus, that fiend to get on the court and an injury happen. This guy's healthy. This guy's got a lot to prove. You would want him on the court and want him playing, and it seems like he doesn't want any part of it, so I would not make a trade for him.
All right, so I think you say something really important, Antoine, is that Ben Simmons has tanked his own value. And if this trade did happen, I don't think it would just be 1-for-1. I think the Sixers would have to send something else to Boston, picks or something, cash considerations. I think Ben would be on very, very thin ice. He would have. This is not Jimmy Butler leaving Minnesota, where you were getting an intense guy. You're getting a guy that we haven't. Last time we saw him in his court, he's at his lowest career moment. So he has to get back and do something. But I don't know how he does that in Philadelphia. But Nick, the way that this trade was received online from the Boston faithful is just. Boston is just living in a dreamland. That they think that they've got a championship team. They don't. They've got a middling team. And they're not sinking.
It's unbelievable.
But they might as well be. They are just floating and treading water in a sea of mediocrity. Like, guys, Kevin McHale is not walking through that door with Kevin Garnett gift wrap for you. You're going to have to do something. And Ben Simmons is at least something interesting. Because what you're doing right now is just treading water to another first-round exit.
First-round exit? How they got to get there, buddy?
Maybe.
Listen, right now, in the entire Eastern Conference, the full list of teams, the Celtics have more wins than Detroit, wild sleeper pick, the Orlando Magic, and no, that's the list. There's 15 teams in the conference. The Celtics have more wins than 2 of them. Detroit and their perpetually rebuilding Magic. That's it. The Sixers, meanwhile, have gotten literally 0 out of Ben Simmons. Just lost Embiid, and they're in 2nd in the conference. So I understand the value proposition, but there's also a desperation proposition. The Sixers, maybe we thought they should be desperate. They're not. They're fine. The Celtics, on the other hand, are terrible right now, despite the fact that Brown and Tatum are both top 10 in the NBA in scoring. And we could do Ben Simmons has a more impressive resume than Jaylen Brown. It's inarguable. Ben Simmons been a 3-time All-Star. Jaylen Brown's been a 1-time All-Star. Ben Simmons been 2-time All-Defense. Jaylen Brown 0-time All-Defense. Ben Simmons 1-time. What's up, Jenna? What?
It's not who he is anymore, so it's hard to make that comparison. We haven't seen him. It's not who the guy is. How do you know who you're even going to get at this point? Because he's not quite all together here. He's got to get it all together before you see him back out on the court again.
Well, I mean, yes, but it was literally who he was last year. He got those honors last season, the most recent season we've seen him play basketball. But I do understand that Jaylen Brown, if you're ranking players in the NBA, despite the accolades part, Jaylen Brown is going to be ranked higher than Ben Simmons. But Kyrie Irving, pre all the vaccine stuff, would have been ranked higher than Ben Simmons as well. And I thought, I know Wilds, you thought, I don't remember what Antoine thought, that Kyrie for Ben would have made sense for both teams because it's about fit. And right now there is a really fair question of whether Jaylen and Tatum fit. And if they don't, you're never trading Tatum, you're going to end up trading Jaylen. I'm just curious, who is the 25-year-old-ish, like Ben is, same age as Jaylen, all-star that you can go get? I know that right now Ben's value is at its lowest, Antoine, but we can't act like he hasn't accomplished things in this.
That's great. All right, time to run the fast break. NBA champ Antoine Walker joining us this morning. Morning, Twan. Here we go. Crazy play in the Nuggets Heat game. 2:39 left to go. Markieff Morris gets called for the foul. Then Nikola Jokic delivers the forearm to his back in retaliation. The MVP was ejected from the game, as was Morris, a game the Nuggets did end up winning. Here's what Heat coach Eric Spoelstra said after the game.
Just absolutely uncalled for. And it would have looked a lot different. This whole thing could have been a whole lot uglier if Markieff was actually facing Jokic. You know, the fact that he had his back turned and he made a play like that, you know, blindsiding him, that's just a very dangerous play.
I don't know who showed me the clip, and actually his head snapped back, so I feel really bad. I mean, it's a reaction, you know, it's a bad move.
Antoine, does Nikola Jokic's shove warrant a suspension?
Yeah, he deserves to because he blindsided him. He deserves to be suspended. But I think we have to look at this from both sides and be realistic. The Morris brothers are learning to be tough guys in this league. They consider them dirty players. I don't consider them dirty players. I consider them the more physical players in the league that we have today, being that the game has changed. I played the game in the late 90s, early 2000s, where you had enforcers on teams. So I'm not necessarily against the Morris brothers and the way they play, but if you look at this play, and we're not on the court to understand, was it chirping? Was it anything else to lead up to it to make the Joker react the way he did? Obviously, you never want to blindside a guy because a guy can really get hurt in that situation. But the play before that, he hit him with a nice elbow right there. And this is a heated game. The Heat are playing great basketball. Denver's at home. So you got to think about all the emotions that's going through a player. But those guys have got to understand the reputation that they have in the league as being physical, tough, rough players, and players are going to react. It's unfortunate he had to hit him from the back, so you got to take your punishment on that. And obviously, I think he should be suspended the game. But do not think that those guys are like, you know, pushovers and that they don't deserve a reaction when they do things dirty on the court.
So listen, Joker's going to get suspended, and more on him in a moment. He is, in his full press conference, he tells you why he's so mad at Markieff Morris. And if you watch it, you know why he's so mad at Markieff Morris. This is supposed to be a regular take foul, something the NBA needs to eliminate. Just they called it the Euro foul, and then it got eliminated in Europe. These fast break-stopping fouls got to go. But it's supposed to be a regular take foul. And Markieff Morris elbows him in the ribs and knees him in the knee. So Markieff Morris does, you know, some Markieff Morris stuff to amp it up. But Jokic then takes it to an 11. Jokic running by his standards, I think that's full speed. I think that's about as fast as the Joker can go. And hitting a guy who's not looking is about as dirty as it gets in the NBA. We saw Patrick Beverley suspended when he shoved Chris Paul after the game just recently this past season. So definitely Jokic will be suspended. And I understand why he was upset, Wilds. He obviously drastically overreacted. But I also got to say this. Jokic has a responsibility that Markieff Morris doesn't have. And in this moment, he doesn't live up to it. He's a league MVP. He's one of the 10 best players in the sport. can't be doing stuff like this. I'm just curious. Let's just go through other MVPs. Whole career, you seen Giannis do something like this? I haven't. Bron's been playing 19 years. Seen him do something like this? I haven't. KD, seen him do something like this? I haven't. The only time I can remember Steph getting thrown out of a game was when, the game was rigged for ratings or money. He didn't know which, or his wife didn't know which, and he whipped his mouthpiece at the fans because he was so upset because LeBron was ruining his season. We've never seen Steph do something dirty like this. Like, you're not supposed to act like this is a league MVP, Wilds. You're not. I mean, tell me the last...
I get it.
Tell me the last one. I just can't think of it. Like, Markieff Morris is in the Anthony Mason, mold. Fine. Jokic is not supposed to do stuff like this.
Do you think that any other MVP would be hit like that at midcourt? Because I think you got to start there. Do you think if Steph was on a drive and it's a take foul, that Markieff Morris would come and slam into Steph? I don't think he would.
Yeah.
I think he gave him a little bit of extra because